Hello, you're watching Eye on Africa with me, Yenna Lee. Tonight, the WHO's Africa chief warns of an extremely rapid evolution of COVID-19 on the continent. 35 of Africa's 54 states have confirmed coronavirus cases. And the population of African black rhinos is on the rise. Illegal poaching has decimated their number over the years, but stronger law enforcement and population management is showing some positive results. Closing borders, schools and businesses. Several countries on the continent are ramping up prevention measures in a bid to stop the spread of COVID-19. 35 African states have confirmed cases so far. Though the continent has been slower than others to feel the impact, cases are adding up. The World Health Organization's Africa chief warns that there's been an extremely rapid evolution of the outbreak there. Here's Catherine Viette with an update.
Since Monday, schools in Burkina Faso have been closed. On Wednesday, the country recorded its first death linked to the coronavirus, and the first in sub-Saharan Africa. The victim was a lawmaker. In response, the government has also decided to suspend all public and private gatherings. While Africa has been less affected so far, the continent is implementing measures to prevent a greater epidemic. The World Health Organization has warned the situation could deteriorate quickly.
In other countries, we have seen how the virus actually accelerates after a certain tipping point. So the best advice for Africa is to prepare for the worst and prepare today.
Despite having no confirmed cases yet, Uganda has banned religious gatherings. Nigeria has stopped flights from 13 countries most affected by the virus outbreak. But some in Africa feel the new measures go too far. In Western Kenya, these women are protesting the decision to close the market. Other countries, too, taking steps that will impact their economies. South Africa, the country with the most cases in the region, has banned cruise ships from stopping at its ports.
In Kenya, the health minister has announced there will be random COVID-19 screening starting this weekend. The country has also suspended travel from countries with the virus. Beyond the health crisis, those who work in the tourism sector are already feeling the economic consequences. Hotels in the coastal city of Mombasa, for example, are almost empty. From Nairobi, here's Mugelwa Lachweyo.
The streets of Nairobi have been quiet following various announcements by government on the restrictions to public gatherings, the use of public transport and even school closure. Those who were out and about today were asked to use hand sanitizer as they entered public spaces like malls and restaurants. Public health workers were also seen fumigating part of the city, which is seen as yet another effort government is taking to curb or contain the spread of the virus. Now, there are only 7 cases confirmed of coronavirus in Kenya so far, but people want to see how fast and far this virus will spread here. Government has said that it is tracking the more than 145 people who have come into contact with those who have confirmed coronavirus. They've also said that they're suspending prison visits and they will be conducting random tests in targeted areas. Now, Nairobi has millions of people that live in slum areas and overcrowded areas. And so practicing this kind of social distancing that has been advised is simply not possible. And so people here are simply waiting to see whether this virus will spread as fast as it has seemed to be doing in other parts of the world.
Air, land and sea borders are temporarily closed in Cameroon. So far, there are more than a dozen people who have been tested positive for coronavirus in the country. Authorities have set up an emergency information center to deal with questions. Our correspondents went to visit the so-called war room. They sent us this.
Here, the hotline numbers which were distributed to Cameroonians. We have a call center here where people are expected to answer and respond to the worries of Cameroonians with regards to COVID-19. We can see behind me, people are very busy receiving calls every now and then to reassure Cameroonians or persons who fear that they may be infected with the COVID-19.
Ils nous appellent parce que soit ils se rendent dans une formation sanitaire, on les redirige vers nous. Donc à nous d'essayer de les rassurer, de leur dire quoi faire.
Now, when information is gathered from the call center, which is operational 24 hours on 24, all of it is brought to another part of the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. Now, this particular area is called the Planification and Monitoring Center. Here, all the information is transferred and processed, and that is from this level where decisions are made on how the virus is going to be managed throughout the National Triangle.
Après avoir établi la liste des alertes, nous transmettons au centre d'appel qui va essayer d'appeler toutes ces personnes-là pour essayer de les recontacter, les suivre à distance ou éventuellement envoyer des équipes d'intervention et d'investigation rapide pour être capable de les emmener dans des lieux pour une prise en charge adéquate.
The center works 24 hours on 24 and they are doing their possible best to manage the situation.
Now, Cameroon is not alone in shutting its borders, Somalia and Chad too. Now, Madagascar is also cutting commercial flights and boats coming in and out of the country. The new policy starts Friday and is set to last 30 days. Though there are no confirmed cases of coronavirus on the island, authorities are anticipating for the worst. France 24 correspondent Gaël Borgia has the latest.
The director of the International Airport of Madagascar said it was one of the busiest days of the year. About 1,800 passengers have been leaving Madagascar to go back to their country of origin. People from all around the world were queuing for hours all the way outside the airport. 2 planes were chartered on Thursday to repatriate about 120 Peace Corps volunteers living in Madagascar. And 2 non-scheduled flights might be chartered for the French expats this weekend. This 30-day shutdown will have serious consequences for the country, as a lot of people, hotels, car rental companies, guides, depend on tourism to survive. After a measles outbreak that killed about 1,000 people last year, and a plague outbreak that killed about 200 people the year before. This is a new hard blow for Madagascar, which is one of the poorest countries in the world.
More than a dozen cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Authorities have taken sweeping new measures to stop it from spreading. Schools, churches, bars and restaurants have been closed. All flights from high-risk countries suspended starting Friday. From Kinshasa, France 24's Clément Bonneau has more on the reactions to those decisions.
Here in Kinshasa, face masks have become a part of daily life. Congolese people are taking the threat from coronavirus very seriously, especially now that President Félix Tshisekedi has announced new measures to stop the spread of the virus. Churches, schools, bars and restaurants will be closed for 4 weeks, and gatherings will be limited to no more than 20 people. These measures, of course, are likely to have a major impact on daily life in a city of more than 12 million people. We spoke to some residents earlier this Thursday.
Au début, c'est pas facile, parce qu'on n'est pas vraiment habitué avec ces moyens de prévention. Donc, des fois, tu oublies, tu touches la bouche, tu touches les nez, et puis voilà. Donc, des fois, c'est pas facile, mais avec le temps, on va s'habituer. Voilà.
Moi, je pense que ce sont de très bonnes mesures. On devait suspendre parce qu'on ne saura plus contrôler les mouvements des enfants. D'ailleurs, chez moi, sans vous flatter, mes enfants sont déjà dans le confinement volontaire.
Je pense que personnellement, la maladie est là, mais jusqu'à semer la psychose, c'est un peu trop fort.
D'autres pays comme la France et les autres, ils ont peut-être réfléchi en retard. Raison pour laquelle nous constatons qu'il y a de plus en plus de morts dans leur pays. Mais dans notre pays, notre président, en tout cas, cette décision tombe à point nommé.
For now, residents of Kinshasa are allowed to go to work and walk around as they please. Most shops also remain open. However, the government has been very clear that additional measures will be needed if the virus continues to spread across the country.
France 24's Clément Bonneau reporting for us there from Kinshasa. Now, for a bit of positive news coming out of the continent, conservationists say that the population of African black rhinos is slowly increasing. Illegal poaching has decimated the rhino population on the continent, but stronger law enforcement and better animal population management seem to have bucked the trend. It's far too early to celebrate, though, experts reminding us that there's still an endangered species and more needs to be done to make sure they don't become extinct.
While numbers might be increasing, where will we put these animals? They need large and interconnected landscapes. At the moment, we have rhinos in small pockets. We have some protected areas, but we haven't got a strategy in Africa at this moment in time to secure contiguous protected areas, interconnectedness, and especially at a time when there's so much development happening, what we have is actually under increasing threat. The main threats to rhinos, apart from poachers, are actually lions who go after their calves. And so in many places, it's really important to have actual security around the rhinos all the time.
That's it from me for now. Don't go anywhere though. More international news coming up on France 24.